Tonight, asking for an audit.
I think the latest announcement of layoffs where KidsAbility had said this won't interrupt service was a red flag, right?
Why a local MPP wants a deeper dive into the finances of a publicly funded agency. New eyes on a trouble spot.
It's frustrating, it hurts business. It increases expenses, of course.
Business owners in North Dumfries on a just approved plan to put cameras on a corridor that's seen crime. Plus, in need of a facelift.
It was sad, you know. A lot of people use this as, I mean, yes, we know it as the Schneider son, but we also know it as the almost home side.
A storm strips away a piece of a local landmark. Good evening. We begin with questions about financial management at KidsAbility, a local agency that helps children and youth with special needs. The organization, which is funded mainly by the province, has made 2 rounds of staffing cuts, and some families and workers have raised concerns. Waterloo MPP Catherine Fife is now asking Ontario's Auditor General to take a closer look. CTV's Spencer Turcott joining us now live with more on this story tonight. And Spencer, you had a chance to speak with Fife about this today.
I did, and she's asking for an audit of the primarily provincially funded organization. It's a way of seeing if better handling of money may have prevented job losses and disruptions to vital services.
So we're seeing an increase over the years to 25.
Waterloo MPP Catherine Fife holds a document outlining that KidsAbility received nearly $25 million from the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services in 2024-2025.
I think the latest announcement of layoffs where KidsAbility had said this won't interrupt service was a red flag, right?
In March, the local union representing employees at the organization that supports children with complex needs said 21 frontline and critical staff received layoff notices. It comes after 37 positions were cut late last year when KidsAbility paused its applied behavior analysis therapy services.
And parents have already seen a decline in services.
All of it coming as public salary disclosures show KidsAbility's CEO saw a more than 22% pay increase last year. So with the nearly $25 million in provincial funding flowing to the agency, Fife says families deserve answers.
I'm just looking for clarity, which is why I requested an audit, because the audit will tell the story of what the needs are in the community, how well those needs are being met, and how well the money is being invested.
CTV News contacted KidsAbility about the concerns and the request for an audit. In an emailed statement, a spokesperson said in part, "There has been no disruption to existing programs and services, and our focus remains on continuity of care," adding that KidsAbility undergoes annual third-party financial audits and has consistently received clean results. "We welcome additional independent audits of our financial operations, but we question the motivation behind MPP Fife's request, noting it comes while collective bargaining continues with unionized staff."
But you can't deliver the services without the people.
Either way, Fife recognizes the important work that KidsAbility does in the community, saying children need more support, not less. So she's hoping more oversight could provide more certainty. As for that audit, the Auditor General's office will have to decide whether to take on that request. There's no indication of when that might happen, but in the meantime, KidsAbility says their services continue. Tony.
All right, Spencer Turcott reporting live. Spencer, thank you. The community of Coburg, east of Toronto, and police across the province are in mourning tonight after the death of an officer and member of the OPP's elite Golden Helmets motorcycle team. Sergeant Brandon Malcolm was killed in a crash on the 401 last night. CTV's Sean Leathong now on how he's being remembered and honored.
The loss of OPP Sergeant Brendan Malcolm is being felt here at the Northumberland Detachment in Coburg, a place he called home for nearly 6 years, seeing cards and flowers today.
Because I just felt like bad of what happened last night, and I just felt like I wanted to drop some flowers off.
It's heartbreaking, it's sad.
I think it's an opportunity to say the sorts of things that we probably should say on a daily basis, how much we appreciate the police and their dedication to keeping us safe.
Ian McFarland dropped off a card this afternoon to express gratitude along with sorrow.
Bottom line is he's a member of the police community, of our community, and we've lost a good man.
5:30 yesterday afternoon, OPP received a call for a single vehicle crash along the 401 just west of Coburg. Sergeant Malcolm was pronounced dead on scene. As a procession of officers lined up last night to show their respect, OPP Commissioner Thomas Carrick spoke of the loss.
His career goal was to become a police officer. He had been an auxiliary member with Toronto Police, a member of the Canadian Armed Forces, and in 2020 he joined the Ontario Provincial Police.
Brandon was with the OPP for just under 6 years. He was a recruit previous to coming to Northumberland Detachment. He was a member of the Golden Helmets Precision Riding Team.
The Golden Helmets are a skilled OPP motorcycle team.
They're the highest trained and most capable motorcycle riders we have in policing.
According to the OPP, the single vehicle crash remains under investigation, while there was also a secondary crash involving police nearby with no serious injuries. No cause has been given for either. Today, the president of the Ontario Provincial Police Association says mental health supports are being offered to colleagues, while members of the community say they are feeling this grief.
Hits close to home like that, it affects everybody, right?
It's rare. In fact, it's not occurred in the 13 years that I've been living here.
It's so sad to hear that there's no evidence of another vehicle. It's very bewildering.
The Provincial Police Association says they're connecting with Sergeant Malcolm's family in the Maritimes.
And that report from CTV's Sean Leathong in Coburg tonight. All right, time for a first look at the weather as we head over to Ashley Bacon in studio on this Tuesday, feeling a little more humidity in the air today. I did notice that, and I don't know, it was kind of a so-so day out there.
Well, I was going to say, Tony, if you didn't just feel it, my hair is a good indicator that there's a bit more humidity out there today. It was certainly a bit misty out there in this afternoon. This morning, lots of rain, and right now we're getting a little bit of a break. So don't get too comfortable. We are expecting some more rain popping through in the overnight hours and certainly into tomorrow. Let's take a look at our radar. Gives a better picture. This is the precipitation that was just lingering through Waterloo region. It's now pushing east and north, so we're not really getting heavy or steady flows of rain anymore. Might see some spotty showers here and there, but right now 16 degrees with a light westerly wind at 20 kilometers an hour, so not too bad. Feeling quite warm out there still across most of southwestern Ontario. Pretty much 18 degrees through most of the region south of us, and then north of us around 15. So overall conditions pretty good right now, Tony, but dare I say May snow might be on the way.
You may dare, even though we don't want to hear it. Thanks, Ash. We'll get those details from you in just a little while. Some signs of change along Waterloo region roads. Large warning signs are now in place where speed cameras once stood. It's the evolution of a traffic control measure that had a lot of people divided. CTV's Alexandra Hollick has more.
A flashy new sign stands strong on Fisher-Hallman Road in Kitchener, a signal to drivers to slow down as they enter a school zone. But before the new signage, there were automated speed enforcement cameras here and in more than 20 other locations across Waterloo region. That's until the Ford government banned the use of speed cameras late last year, calling them cash grabs. In their place, the province launched a multi-million-dollar Road Safety Initiatives Fund, giving municipalities money to install other traffic calming measures. The region of Waterloo received $840,000.
There are new, bigger signs. There are flashing lights that will be going in as well. And we're also at the region implementing more speed bumps.
But experts say it's not clear if bigger signs will actually curb speeding.
We don't have evidence to suggest that this is the appropriate intervention. And now we essentially, across Ontario, are running a large-scale experiment in our community and safety zones.
CTV News spoke with drivers who had some mixed reactions to the new signs. Some say they didn't even notice them, while others believe they do a better job than speed cameras.
It is helpful, big time, right? Because now when I was coming down there, I was on 60, and I noticed that, oh, it's a school zone, so I just immediately stopped, reduced my speed down, so it's a big help.
I noticed the cameras. There's a sign that says speed camera, and then you feel like they're after you, like they're just looking to get money, whereas the flashing lights are more positive in that they're really saying pay attention to our children. Watch out for them.
As for the cameras, the region kept them up until their contract was up in February. And while they stopped handing out tickets, the cameras continued to track traffic, collecting data that's expected to be presented to a regional committee next week. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Kitchener.
Now to an even bigger sign you've no doubt noticed along the highway. The landmark Schneider sign just off the 401 in Puslinch is missing some of its corner pieces. Here's CTV's Colton Weens with more on what happened.
It's a landmark sign that can be seen from Highway 401, a significant location for commuters coming and going from the region of Waterloo. But on Tuesday, the top left corner pieces, the face of the Dutch girl on the iconic Schneider sign in Puslinch, were missing.
It was sad, you know. A lot of people use this as, I mean, yes, we know it as the Schneider sign, but we also know it as the almost home sign. A lot of people, they see it and it's a welcome reminder that they're a couple miles from home. So I think it kind of hits people it strikes people in the heart a little bit.
From afar, the sign mostly looks intact, but as you get closer to it, kind of zooming in to the sign, you can see that about half of her face is missing and there's broken pieces dangling off the sides. Maple Leaf Foods, the company that owns the sign, says in an email to CTV News, the landmark Schneider sign in Wellington County sustained some damage in a recent storm, adding drivers and residents can rest assured that the iconic Dutch girl is not going anywhere. The local landmark was installed in 1961 and has undergone refurbishments while staying true to its vintage feel.
People get a lot of fond, nostalgic memories from it.
Local artist Trevor Clare has done a digital painting of the sign and says it's a major part of the community.
And the Schneider sign is just a perfect example of, you know, it's a sign, but it's more than a sign. It's something that reminds us of past bygone days, but perhaps they aren't that long ago, but, you know, it reminds us of something more than just the sign, something personal, something emotional.
Maple Leaf Foods tells CTV News they are working to have the sign repaired as quickly as possible. Colton Weens, CTV News, Puslinch.
North Dumfries has signed on to have an eye in the sky watching over a part of the community that's been hit with crime. The township has agreed to a partnership with Waterloo Regional Police for closed-circuit television on Northumberland Road near the 401. CTV's Jeff Pickle joining us live now with more on this. And Jeff, police and some in the community just say that this location just makes a lot of sense.
Well, Tony, this is a project regional police are hoping to roll out across more of the region. They're making the rounds at local councils to build their case, but they say this section of road is ideal to catch criminals as they escape to the 401, and local businesses agree. The corner of Northumberland and Alps Road, just meters from the 401, will be the location of the first CCTV camera in North Dumfries. Township Council approved the plan last night, a plan many local businesses agree with.
Theft's always been an issue in the agriculture sector with the smaller equipment.
Located at Alps in Northumberland Road, Air, Tract and Turf say they've been targeted by criminals.
I think it's an easy sale for the people that are targeting the equipment. They know where they're going with it. It's a quick, fast sale.
With cameras and a heavy-duty fence made of large concrete blocks, they say security is already a major expense.
It's frustrating. It hurts business. It increases expenses, of course.
EB says they think a CCTV camera with a direct link to police only makes sense this close to the 401.
A quick getaway, you're on the 401, you're going 100 kilometers an hour, not going through lights. Not seeing too many police officers, away you go.
They'll walk in from the road, climb down the cinder blocks.
Over at J&R Hall Transport, they've had close to a dozen trucks stolen from their yard.
And we just keep spending money, and we're still losing trucks. We've done a few things on our own to try to deter, and the thought of having cameras up that can at least track and point us in the direction of where they went.
Hall says despite their best effort, they are dealing with highly organized criminals.
These guys are professionals. We're not fooling them.
Hall says his stolen trucks did not pass Northumberland and Alps Road, so he is hopeful to see more cameras in the future.
My hope and goal would be that they're going to expand and put one on Trustler Road to see what goes on out here. Put one on, Brant Waterloo Road coming in and out of Air.
put one out on Cedar Creek. You know, we need to protect our investments. This is my family's livelihood, and I need help.
And important to know, these cameras would not be monitored by police, but would be used to help investigations. And police say if they get buy-in from other municipalities, they hope to expand the project to many other areas. The city of Waterloo, for example, has already indicated it's on board. Tony?
Okay, Jeff, thank you. CTV's Jeff Pickle live with that report. Nearly 5 years after statues of 9 prime ministers were taken down in Wilmot, the township has agreed to cover the cost of putting them back up again, a cost that could run as much as $78,000. At Monday night's council meeting, councillors formally agreed to hand over the Prime Minister's Path project to CreateScape Waterloo Region, the organization that will now be responsible for the project for a 20-year initial term that could be extended in the future. The plan is to reinstall the 9 statues in the park next to the township offices. The $78,000 cost to pour new foundations will be covered by the township, is a one-time expense, and then CreateScape will be responsible for fundraising and eventually adding new statues of other prime ministers.
The intent here is to allow CreateScape to focus on fundraising in order to develop the educational program and to expand the collection with new statues added to the collection.
Councillors previously agreed that the statue of Sir John A. Macdonald, which was the site of numerous demonstrations in the past, would be placed in a different, less prominent location when it's reinstalled. All right, some developing news we've been keeping an eye on in Cambridge today. Residents from 3 townhomes in the South End have been displaced after a fire ripped through the units last night. CTV's Karis Mapp joining us now live at Aurora Common in Galt, where all this happened. Karis, what do we know about how this fire started?
Well, Tony, the fire investigator determined that the cause is electrical in nature, and you can see some of that damage behind me, which is currently being estimated at about $1.5 million. Now, that figure is subject to change as the investigation continues, but the call came in last night around 8:45, and multiple fire crews responded. There were a total of 7 apparatus on scene. Fire officials say the flames extended into the adjacent units on either side of the originating property. Crews worked to ensure that there was no further spread and that no one was injured. Now, fire officials are continuing to stress the importance of electrical safety in homes and ensuring that electrical systems are properly maintained, which does include working smoke alarms. Tony.
Okay, Karis, thank you. CTV's Karis Mapp live on the scene of that townhome fire damage in Cambridge tonight. Regional police continue to investigate a suspicious fire at a Walmart in Waterloo last month. It happened March 15th at the store on Bridgeport Road East and Weber Street North. And now police releasing new photos of the person they're trying to identify, who they believe is connected to the incident. They believe he left the area in a gray Honda SUV. No one was hurt. Walmart previously told CTV News that it'll take all appropriate steps to hold the person who started the fire accountable, including assessing legal options to recover damages. Start your day in the know with the CTV Kitchener newsletter. Right to your inbox every morning, a look at the day's top stories, the latest forecast, and some must-see videos. You can sign up by heading over to our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Looking to take Ontario's school cell phone ban one step further. Coming up, the Education Minister offers a hint of what could be coming next.
Well, don't let the rain stopping tonight fool you. More is on the way. You want to keep those umbrellas handy because tomorrow is going to be a wet one. Just how much rain and when it'll all happen, those details coming up with your full forecast after this. Stay with us.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
Ontario's education minister says the province is considering banning social media and cell phones on school property.
Right now we're reflecting on a wider ban on cell phones. I think the evidence is becoming more and more clear. cell phone use in our schools, elementary and our secondary schools, anywhere on site, has become a problem. So we are considering an outright ban of cell phones on school properties across the province of Ontario. Obviously, for health reasons, we'll allow some exemptions to that, and we are going to be working closely with the federal government with respect to a broader social media ban.
Paul Calandra says he's also looking at a social media ban in schools and would like to go farther than what Manitoba has planned. He says he's working with Ottawa on a ban on social media for kids under a certain age. Calandra says most of his counterparts across Canada agree that it's not beneficial to let students access phones in school. Manitoba recently announced that they plan to ban children from using social media accounts and artificial intelligence chatbots starting in classrooms. Well, next, another reminder about the seasonal tire switch and safety. Police are sharing more stories about tires falling off as experts urge drivers to double down on maintenance. CTV's Hannah Schmidt reports.
With summer on the horizon, it's one of the busiest times of year for tire shops.
So very busy with tire changes. It's been go, go, go.
But experts say rushing the job can come at a cost. Add potholes, worn parts, and quick turnarounds into the mix, and mechanics say they're seeing more problems roll into the shop.
We've seen people put their tires on and then come in here and it's like something's not right.
Some of the things that happen is collisions, damage to vehicles. People are stranded in live lanes of traffic because their wheels have come off.
Police say it happens every spring, and this one is no exception. Tires coming loose and in some cases breaking free.
They might not be torqued properly or installed properly. We experience a lot of wheel offs on our 400 series highways.
A loose tire isn't just a breakdown. It can turn into a fast-moving hazard.
If your wheel, does come off your vehicle and it is skipping down the road, motorists could be charged with an HTA offense, Highway Traffic Act offense of detached part. Fines can range from $100 to $1,000 for that incident.
Wrong parts, improper installs, or just rushing through the process. Experts say even small mistakes can lead to big problems.
Also, it's important to use the proper techniques. So that is the star formation, for example. So you kind of go top, bottom, across. That helps distribute that torquing evenly across the tire.
A follow-up check after a tire swap, recommended after about 50 to 100 kilometers, is one of the simplest ways to stay safe. But it's also one of the most overlooked.
They don't fit right and then they come loose. Make sure that your tire fits flat on the hub. Make sure the back of the rim is clean. Make sure the face of the hub is clean. And then make sure you torque everything.
And with shops booked up, mechanics say don't rush the job or the people doing it.
Just be patient. The more you rush shops, the more they're just trying to push it out instead of spending that time and taking that extra 5-10 minutes.
Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Kitchener.
A two-vehicle crash right on the border of Kitchener and Waterloo this morning closed a busy road for a while. It happened at Fisher Hallman and University. Police closed part of Fisher Hallman during the investigation from Glasgow to Thorndale. Police say one driver, a 72-year-old man from Waterloo, was taken to a local hospital by ambulance with serious injuries. The other driver, a 26-year-old man from Kitchener, also went to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The cause remains under investigation tonight. And we have this look from our tower camera live right now toward Waterloo. You can see the sun is trying to peek through on the horizon there. Well, we've had a pretty overcast day today, though, and as Ash and I were noting earlier, feeling a little bit more humidity in the air. But we are going to be doing a bit of a rewind as far as the temperatures are concerned later this week. Ashley will bring us all those details in a few minutes. Also coming up, we'll take a short drive down the 401 to meet someone who's celebrated more birthdays than almost anyone else in Ontario. But next, the state of the country's finances, the key takeaways from an update from the Prime Minister today. Ashley's here with our look at the forecast, and I have to tell you, it was just starting with last evening. It was pretty nice. Got a run in right after work and felt the whole time like I was racing against the clouds.
You pretty much were.
and it was kind of the same feeling again today. You got that overcast, sort of threatening feeling in the sky that any moment we could get some rain or somewhere near us could get some rain.
Well, get ready for round 3, Tony, because tomorrow is going to look almost like a carbon copy of today. Maybe not as wet first thing in the morning, but more in the afternoon. Let's take a look outside this hour. It is, as you said, just before break, the sun is trying. It's trying to come through, and that's why we're feeling so humid at the moment, because temperatures are still pretty decent considering we are still in April, and you know, things are cooling off in the coming days, but enjoy what you can while you can, because tomorrow is going to be another wet day. You're going to want to keep those umbrellas handy. Let's take a look at the futurecast. So we are seeing that system that brought all the rain with it this afternoon moving east and north to us now. We will start to get a bit more cloud cover, some spotty showers through the early mornings of Wednesday, but hours of Wednesday rather. But by tomorrow afternoon, we're into it. We're going to see heavy rain at times throughout Waterloo region. We're not looking at any thunderstorm activity at this stage, but of course that can change. So make sure you keep an eye on your phones for alerts, and of course check in with CTV News Kitchener.ca for our first forecast tomorrow afternoon. But cloud cover nonetheless, so you want to keep those umbrellas handy and a nice warm jacket, because temperatures are cooling off as we get to the end of the week. Taking a look at what's happening right now, though, not a bad day on the west coast. 11 in Vancouver, a bit of cloud cover. Sun's trying to peek through in Victoria with 12 in Calgary. Edmonton, a mostly sunny day, and 7 through the prairie provinces. It's 5 in Saskatoon, 6 for Regina in Winnipeg. And as we head further east towards our nation's capital, 14 in Ottawa. Not a bad day in Montreal, still sitting at 21 degrees. Definitely one of the warmer spots across the country this hour. On the east coast in St. John's, the sun is shining. It's actually quite a beautifully sunny day on the east coast. Temperatures, though, not quite as warm in St. John's, -1, 5 though, or 15 rather, in Fredericton. So not a bad day in Fredericton. Right here in Waterloo region, 16 degrees, pretty much the high teens for most of southwestern Ontario. So that is why we're feeling a bit humid. Now overnight, we aren't expecting temperatures to dip too far. 6 degrees is the expected low, which is right around seasonal for this time of year. Tomorrow, though, temperatures aren't going to be quite as warm as we felt yesterday and today. We're only expecting a daytime high of around 11, and with a 30-kilometer-an-hour wind, that might feel a little cooler at times with the rain. As we take a look at the almanac, back in 2012, our overnight record low was set at 4.8. We are going to get close to that a little later in the week, but not quite there yet. As we take a look at our 7-day forecast, starting for Waterloo region, sunny and 9 for your Thursday, but it's the overnight that I want to point out. We are looking at below 0 temperatures for at least 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it's Friday and Saturday where we might see some of those showers, dare I say it, convert into flurries overnight. Good news is it's not likely to stick around very long if it does happen. In Lambton, Kent, Essex, similar conditions, rain for your Wednesday and 12, 13 with the sun trying to peek through on Thursday and Friday. And lastly, in southern Georgian Bay, very much similar as well. Temperatures slightly cooler, though, as we look to the overnights on Thursday and Friday, -2 and -3. So once again, those showers could potentially turn into flurries. And then if we look further down the line there, Tony, snow and rain mix in that long-range forecast.
Can I just call your attention to something before we change this board?
Yes.
Our regular producer of the 6 o'clock show, Jeff Soltesiak, and I have been waiting for the day that the 7-day forecast will say 8675309. Oh. It hasn't happened yet, but this is the closest we've gotten to it.
That's not bad. That's hilarious.
I know you'll get that reference.
I absolutely get that reference. Okay, let's take a look at our Weather Watcher picture sent in today from Joanne, who says these Blue Jays must be discussing strategy for the next game. This photo was taken on the 24th near St. Clements, and of course with you Savage back in the lineup tonight, Tony, it's going to be a good one.
These Blue Jays here might be onto something.
Maybe.
They're discussing.
Maybe.
They know something. Yeah, it is going to be a good one tonight, by the way, with you Savage back in the lineup. All right, thank you for allowing me those side ventures as well during that forecast.
Always a pleasure, Tony.
Thanks, Ash. Well, Prime Minister Mark Carney and his government unveiled their spring economic statement today. It's a long-term outlook, and the outlook for the deficit is largely unchanged, and there aren't many new measures to help with affordability. CTV's Mike LeCouture has this update.
It's more than just an economic update, proposing $37.5 billion in new measures over 5 years. A part of that includes a new skills training program. The government hopes to recruit, train, and hire between 80 and 100,000 skilled tradespeople by 2031. The cost of the program is $5.9 billion.
This means real pathways into skilled trades with paid training and on experience. It means more opportunities for employers to hire and train young workers.
While the deficit was $11 billion lower this year compared to last fall's projection, the long-term outlook is largely unchanged, with no path to balance for the next 5 years. And the deficit will remain over $50 billion into the 2030-31 fiscal year.
Today's Liberal fiscal updates brings more costs, more debt, and more bills on the national credit card. This Prime Minister is just another Liberal.
Royalties from high oil prices are contributing to government revenues, but Canada is facing fiscal headwinds from the ongoing trade war with its largest trading partner.
Together, we can chart a path forward to the fog of uncertainty, because Canada has what the world wants and increasingly needs. We have the right plan. We're building big. We're moving fast.
In addition to yesterday's announcement of the Canada Sovereign Fund, there is other new spending. $755 million over 5 years to support Canada's sports system, including Olympic athletes, and $4.3 billion for Indigenous communities. There is one pocketbook measure Canadians could feel. The government is reducing the contribution rate for the Canada Pension Plan. Someone earning $70,000 per year will get to keep $133 more of their take-home pay annually. But there are few other new measures to help Canadians on a daily basis.
I think what it demonstrates is the high fiscal cost to the government of trying to introduce new pocketbook saving measures for Canadians. It is very expensive.
Pressed on that, the finance minister pointed to measures like bolstering the grocery and essentials benefit, as well as suspending the excise tax on gasoline until Labor Day, as ways the government is helping Canadians deal with the affordability crisis. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Still ahead, a big night for a big force in southwestern Ontario's arts community. We will have much more on the premiere of the documentary on Anthony Cimolini, the longtime artistic director of the Stratford Festival, and his thoughts on it. A blow to OPEC, with the United Arab Emirates, the third largest producer, leaving the oil cartel. The move brings up questions about what this will mean for gas prices. Here's CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin.
Another plot twist in the story of gas prices' wild ride, with a shakeup at OPEC. As of May 1st, the United Arab Emirates will be out of the oil exporting group, and the impact of the UAE's exit, say analysts, is still to be determined.
UAE wants to increase its output, but that's going to take time. Of course, getting into market is still a real challenge with that blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. So the volatility, unfortunately, and the sustained high prices, I think those are going to last for a while.
Well, it's going to be $200. I'm used to it at this point.
And Fizhang says he hasn't noticed the tax holiday Ottawa brought in to cushion the blow of rising costs.
Is there? There's supposed to be a tax holiday?
The excise tax holiday came into effect more than a week ago. The government estimated it would save Canadians about 10 cents a litre at the pump. But with negotiations over the Strait of Hormuz deadlocked, the price of oil worldwide has steadily risen in the past week. And so here's a look at how the tax holiday may be cushioning the blow. On April 14th, when Ottawa announced the cut, the national average was around 176 cents a litre. On April 19th, the day before the move came into effect, the price 174. April 21st, 164 cents a litre, the lowest price this month. Today it's back up to $1.75 a litre, around 9 cents lower than the highest price this year. Now all this as south of the border, Americans are paying the highest price at the pump in 4 years. That was in April 2022, shortly after Russia invaded Ukraine. Some drivers putting in a lot of kilometers say 10 cents a litre is small comfort.
But 10 cents is not...
But to others, anything helps as costs add up. There's still plenty of time for the price of gas to go up and down before the tax holiday ends. That's slated for September. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Okay, checking in with Leanne Evans now for a look at our top stories tonight. And Leanne, we begin with a Waterloo MPP calling for an audit of KidsAbility.
Yeah, the organization, which is funded mainly by the province, has made 2 rounds of staffing cuts, and some families and workers have raised concerns. Catherine Fife believes there's a disconnect between the funding the organization is receiving and those recent staffing decisions. The Auditor General will have to decide whether to take on the request. In the meantime, KidsAbility says their services continue. The next chapter of traffic calming measures has arrived in Waterloo Region. Large signs and flashing lights have been installed in school zones and other areas where automated speed enforcement cameras once were. The new signage comes from the province after the Ford government banned speed cameras in November. The region of Waterloo received $840,000 for the signage setup.
And online tonight, Leanne, details about a series of thefts in Guelph.
Police are investigating multiple thefts from garages and sheds across the city. They haven't said if any of the incidents are related, but you can read more about the multiple reports on our website. Scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or go to ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
Okay, Leanne, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The story of the Stratford Festival's longtime artistic director is the focus of a new documentary that made its world premiere at Toronto's Hot Docs Festival last night.
I've been preparing 40 years for this moment.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow.
This, above all, tells the story of Anthony Cimolino, the accomplished actor who went on to become the creative force behind the Stratford Festival. Director Barry Average traces Cimolino's journey as he prepares for his final season as artistic director. Cimolino has spent nearly 4 decades with the festival in various roles.
Of course, it's very strange being the subject of a film as opposed to, like, my life has been spent telling other people's stories. So it was quite a journey. When I saw it, I was very moved by it. I was, you know, it's funny to see your life flash before your eyes before you're ready to go. But it was beautifully done.
I don't think there's a Canadian theater industry without him. Devoting 40 years of your life to one institution and shaping the lives and careers of some of the greatest Canadian actors, directors, scenic designers, wardrobe people. I mean, he has created an industry. It was there, but he determined the path into Canadian history.
After this year, Cimolino says he plans to take some time and enjoy being with his family, and says that while he's received some offers for the future, he won't consider anything that starts before 2028. Well, just ahead, it wasn't their night, but it ain't over till it's over. The Kitchener Rangers and KW Titans look to recover from a might-have-been Monday. We're just a few minutes away from puck drop at Sadlin Arena in Barrie, where the Colts are hosting the Brantford Bulldogs tonight, hoping to shift momentum in the OHL Eastern Conference Final. The Colts held a short practice this morning. Brantford, though, is leading this series 2-1 after shutting out the Colts in Game 3 on Sunday. Final score 2-0 in that game. Puck drop for Game 4 of the East Final, 7 o'clock tonight. And the Kitchener Rangers were looking to continue their winning streak against the Windsor Spitfires last night as they shifted their focus to the road for Game 3 of the OHL's Western Conference Final.
Backside first, comes all the way around back to the point. Campbell bouncing puck, settles it down, gets it in. And on goal there, Arquette from an angle, loose in front, shoots and scores! It did find the back of the net, and Cameron Arquette makes it 3-2 with 4:59 remaining.
Cameron Arquette gave the Rangers a fighting chance in the third frame, but it just would not be enough. The Spitfires adding an empty netter to seal the deal and secure a 4-2 victory, handing the Rangers just their second loss of the postseason. So Kitchener remains in the driver's seat now, though. They lead that best-of-7 series 2-1. Game 4 Wednesday in Windsor before the series shifts back to the odd for Game 5 on Friday. And on the hardwood, the KW Titans were eyeing the Basketball Super League Championship title, up 2-1 on the Sudbury Five in their best-of-5 series. A tightly contested matchup last night, but they wouldn't be able to get it done. Sudbury keeps its dream alive with a 100-97 victory.
Now, ain't no advantage right now. It's all going to come down to what team won it more, who executes better, and who plays the most consistent for 48 minutes.
It is amazing. I love the energy, the dynamics that the young men brought to the court, and the one thing that I really like is that they respected one another and played with integrity. And that says a lot about both teams.
The series shifts back to the odd tomorrow, where the championship title will be claimed one way or the other. It's going to be the deciding game. All right, more news in a moment. Ashley, they sure are going to be busy at the odd, going from hardwood to ice to hardwood to ice.
Oh, man, and we learned a little bit about that process last week with the team at the odd, so thank you for that insight. But, man, is it going to be a big week for sports fans around the region. Tomorrow, however, we're waking up to cooler, cloudy conditions. Those details just ahead. Start your night off with E-Talk at 7, followed by The Big Bang Theory. Then Will Trent at 8, RJ Decker at 9, and cap your night off with High Potential at 10.
Tonight, breaking down a spring mini budget.
I feel the pinch more, especially with grocery prices.
Cost of living is going up everywhere.
Plus, what Canadians are hoping will finally change in their wallets. Later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Home of Bounce Mornings with Angie Hill and Sarge. KW's Bounce 99.5. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
Okay, let's check in with Leanne one more time and find out what we're keeping an eye on tonight. Leanne?
Well, Tony, you mentioned it. The Brantford Bulldogs in Barrie tonight facing off against the Colts in Game 4 of their Eastern Conference Series. The Bulldogs had the upper hand with a 2-1 series lead and will be looking to extend it. Puck drop, of course, just moments away. We'll bring you all the game highlights at 11:30. Tony?
Looking forward to that. Leanne, thank you so much. And Ash, our forecast.
Yes.
I've been avoiding talking about the long range.
Yeah, let's just keep a notice on what's happening right now.
Getting cooler later in the week.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny week again, but I feel like we've been saying that all season long.
Yes.
So it's nothing new, nothing we can't handle. Let's take a look at what we're looking at tomorrow morning. It is going to be 6 for overnight, and then tomorrow daytime we'll get around 11 degrees. But first thing in the morning, things will be a little cooler. 6, rain starting back up around 10 a.m., Tony. So lots to plan for tomorrow.
Lots to plan for, lots to keep an eye out for all week. Yeah, it's sure not going to feel like the beginning of May, but we'll leave that for later in the week. And finally for us tonight, living through history. A Mississauga man celebrated his 107th birthday today.
He's one of the oldest people in the province, and CTV's Corey Baird spoke with him about the milestone.
A birthday bash befitting the occasion.
Happy birthday to you.
It's 107 years for Ivan Winnichuk, or to hear him tell it, 107 and counting.
Thank you, everybody.
Being 107 comes with challenges, and not in the how do you get that many candles on a cake variety. In the Ukraine of the 1930s, Ivan overcame inconceivable hardships. During the Holodomor, a famine induced by the Soviet Republic, Winnichuk and his family were shipped to Siberia. He was later drafted to fight for the Russians in World War II before fleeing to Germany, where he met his wife Olga, immigrating to Canada in 1951.
His mother says to him, never look back, always go forward, look for freedom and peace. Forget about us, just keep on going west.
West he went, building a home in London, Ontario with his bare hands. Hands he'd use in his later years to make origami for his great-granddaughters.
Even when we go to visit him when he was like 100 years old, he could still pick us up even if we're so tall and like, you know. Yeah, and he always like just reiterates how important it is to keep moving around, stay healthy, and yeah, he can.
No drinking booze. No smoking, no stress, and he always knew that he can overcome things. He was a very, very positive person, very positive character.
Ivan is currently the 4th oldest person in Ontario, with a competitive streak that won't let him be content to stay in that position.
I challenged him to be 110. He always wins.
Corey Baird, CTV News, Mississauga.
It's incredible, and it's an incredible generation, by the way, when you hear the stories about moving and searching for peace, for freedom, and just, building a life.
Encyclopedia of knowledge.
Yes.
107 years of history brings in one's life. That's incredible.
Well, you think of what the world was in 1919 versus what it is now, and wow, it's just, I'm awestricken.
Absolutely.
When I hear stories.
Absolutely.
Like Ivan's, for sure.
And I mean, at 107, those little life tips he gave there, Tony, were pretty great. No smoking.
Yeah, kernels of wisdom. Yeah, that hold true all these years later. That's our time. Thanks for checking in with us. Leanne's here tonight at 11:30, right after the CTV National News. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.